Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Advice from a Pro career series. Today we have with us Amara O'Connell from the Office of Homeless Services in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you so much, Amara, for being here with us today. We have a couple of questions to help our students as they embark on the human services rotation of their food truck project. Okay, so we'll start with our first question. We'll get right into it. What does an average day look like in your job? Or if you want to describe what is your job?
Yeah, definitely. I work in the Office of Homeless Services. Within that office, there's a food access unit. So I work in the food access unit. So my job specifically deals with soup kitchens and meal providers that are feeding the unsheltered population in Philadelphia. So think about fully prepared meals that are being served. So this doesn't include like food pantries that are giving out grocery items that would need, a stove or something to be cooked like that. And specifically, I work with providers and soup kitchens and meals in the Kensington area of Philadelphia. So Kensington was the hardest hit area in Philly by the opioid epidemic. So there's a lot of issues in the area, and there's a large proportion of unsheltered individuals in the area. Unsheltered is another word that we use to describe like the homeless, right? So because there's a large population of these folks in the area, there's a large population of meal providers and people that are providing meals to these individuals. So we work to build capacity of these organizations, offer training resources, offer, helpful resources on trash collection, on where to get donations of food. We collaborate with all these organizations to build kind of a coalition so that folks can work together to increase meals in the area. So just a lot of that kind of like behind the scenes work. We're not on the ground, but we're doing kind of the higher level overview of it all. So I guess to talk about what an average day looks like, I think that it can really vary, which is something that I really appreciate about my job. Some days I might be speaking directly with meal providers, but on other days, maybe I'm researching different grant opportunities that might be able to be available for these providers to get money to then provide services. Or I might be, attending meetings with leadership in the city on different initiatives that are going on. So it really varies, but typically, I will be on my computer answering emails and writing and researching and talking to people. In non-COVID times, we did a lot of face-to-face work with people. But right now, all that's kind of virtual, so it's a lot of sitting on my laptop. But like I said, the variety and things I do each day is kind of makes the job more exciting for sure.
That thing that you mentioned, variety, that's something you like about your job. Are there any other like favorite parts, maybe least favorite parts of your job?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, yeah, my favorite having the variety is something that's really useful. I think another really large piece of my job that is my favorite part is when I get to talk to meal providers. So throughout the city, there are a ton of meal providers. There are folks that are providing meals just on Christmas Day, or there are folks that provide meals, 3 times a week. So you get a lot of variety, and it's impossible to know everyone. So we often do outreach to meal providers that we don't have a relationship with, and we try and build a relationship to, increase collaboration and offer the resources that we have. And it's so powerful to hear people talk about the good work that they're doing in the community, especially when a lot of this job is talking about the kind of bad parts. So it's really inspiring to see folks that are doing really great work. So that's definitely my favorite part.
You mentioned that you work with a lot of difficult topics, right? So a lot of kind of hard social realities and difficult things to discuss, especially because you're talking about people and their livelihoods. So least favorite parts of the job?
I kind of touched on this already, but one of the parts that's a little hard sometimes is a lot of, especially with COVID, sitting on the computer, and that can be kind of drawn out throughout the day, and it feels like the day goes on forever sometimes. But there's, those other moments of the bright things that really keep you going. So I would say, I'm excited for COVID to kind of be over so I can get back into the field a little more, because I think that will help. I also think too, to speak to your point of, dealing with difficult topics, it can be really depressing to have to talk about this stuff all day, especially when you're talking about people who are, using drugs and are dealing with mental health issues and are living in the streets and in squalor, and it's just hard to have to hear that all day. So it's definitely difficult, but there's like ways to cope with that. And again, those like bright positive moments are a great way to do that, as well as I think making like a separation between your work life and your home life, so that you're able to kind of cope with the negative things that come up with the job.
So then compartmentalizing a little bit, making sure that you have a really healthy work-home life balance. Generally, what do you think makes somebody successful in like a human service career where you're working with the community?
Yeah, I think the main thing that you can do to be successful in this career is have great personal skills and communication skills. You're constantly speaking with, other people that are working in this field, whether that's other nonprofits or organizations or people in the city, or you're talking to residents, other Philadelphians, you're talking to people who are struggling. So you need to be able to have those interpersonal skills in order to be able to talk to basically anyone. Being able to cover everyone, I think, is a really big part of the job, and having these skills to talk to people. I often say like chit-chatting is like my favorite thing to do. So I picked a good job because I just get to chit-chat all the time. Sometimes about, like I said, hard topics, but it's still chit-chatting in a sense.
So our students right now are working on a future project where they're asked us to create a fully kind of functioning business plan for their food truck. And part of that we're talking about is doing community outreach. How can I use my business to help my community and to create a positive good where it's needed? So especially concerning maybe private food trucks, is there any availability or not availability? Is there any way that those who own a private food truck maybe can work with the Office of Homeless Services or work to kind of help with this food insecurity issue in maybe certain areas in the city or just in general?
Yeah, so there is actually a few organizations that work kind of in this realm that we're talking about. So one of them that's right off the top of my head is Food Connect. So this was an organization that was originally a part of the city, and they kind of broke off, and now they're their own nonprofit. What they do is they work with restaurants, food trucks, businesses that have surplus food, and Food Connect will come pick up that food and then give it to a food pantry, a nonprofit, another organization to then redistribute to people in need, right? So it's all done through an app. It's like so 2021 now. It's all really up to date. So it's a really easy way to do it. There's a lot of food trucks that do that because there's surplus food, and that would, if there wasn't a program like this, that food would be food waste and it would go to waste. Meanwhile, there's people in our city who are hungry. So this kind of bridges the gap between taking food waste and turning it into a resource for other people. I think that I know of some organizations that partner with food trucks. So if like a food truck has the ability to donate food, organizations will partner with food trucks to come bring like the food, obviously, and distribute the food out of the food trucks, because it's a really good way to distribute food easily outdoors while also like keeping the streets clean and things like that. So if your food truck is really successful and you guys are able to do some donations, that's a really great way to help your community as well. And I think it's a write-off on your taxes, so that's great too.
All right, that's all we have today for today's Advice from a Pro. Thank you so much to Amara for being here. Students, if you have any questions for Amara, if you want to talk more about her job or other services or careers from the Office of Homeless Services, or even just in the city of Philadelphia, what it's like to work for city government, we will have a way to contact Amara listed at the end of this video. Right, and that's all we got.
Thank you.